can't be without a lens, so I'm pretty sure that light phenomena are not.
Outside of your eyeball. A
Go on,
specific
Elijah.
angle, sun, which should be to your back, in order for the rainbow to be seen. Now, I don't know if
Correct.
you guys knew, but all rainbows are actually 360 degree circles. Did you know that?
Correct.
Yeah. Absolutely, I confirm that.
Yes.
They
Okay,
are.
so when I look at a rainbow, a whole full 360 degree circle, like say for instance a video that I can link, I see the guy at high altitude, and it looks like a hot spot. Like if you're flashing a light on the floor and you see the hot spot, like the circle, the innermost circle is the hottest, and it diffuses as it goes out, right? Well, that's the same thing that happens in a double rainbow. You have the rainbow, then you have the outer circle, which is less light, and then you have the outer edge, the rest of outside of the rainbow, which is even darker.
Yeah, I
How
caught
can
one
you
of
create
those
that
on
without a
camera
lens?
a year ago. A double
How can you
rainbow
create
where
that
it
without a
would
lens?
actually continue the circle at the bottom, so you could see it was a circle.
So keep going, Elijah. We're tracking and we agree.
So the reason that I this is the origin of my thought about the rainbow. One day, it was about either it was 11 something or around 1 o'clock, and I was riding my bike, and the asphalt was a little wet. It was reflective, and I saw this circle around me, like how they depict in a lot of old, like sun god type stuff, all the pagan stuff where you see the sun behind them or whatever. And I'm like, that looks really interesting. This phenomenon that I'm looking at kind of looks like that. So I took a picture of it, and like I'm saying, it's a hot spot because even when you invert the picture, the innermost circle is dark. It's obvious. The only way you could do that is with a lens or through a lens, and it's not like the Glober answer to what it is. Like, oh, it's the light bouncing off of the water molecules in the water molecule spheres in the atmosphere. That's not really what's
Elijah.
happening.
Yeah, but they are, though. They are.
Elijah.
It's just that what you get to
But-
see
but-
is like a
but-
lens
but there's-
flare
but there's
effect.
but the reason you can see the rainbow is because of the atmosphere. But that's not what's causing the light. That's not what's causing the rainbow, though. You can
Yeah,
see
Elijah,
it because of
can
the
I-
The
atmosphere.
sun
That's
causes
not
the
what's
rainbow.
causing-
Oh, gosh.
That's man, go ahead, man.
One moment, please.
Everyone
Elijah.
relax for a second.
Elijah, on that
Yeah.
note, I remember researching this rainbow phenomenon, and it was a few videos that talked about in order to have it indoors, like if you were going to mirror a rainbow that you see outside inside of a building, you'd have to have a reflector. Without a reflector, you couldn't do it. Is that where you're getting to?
Mhm.
Hello?
I don't think so.
It's like
Get into it.
like even like that. Yeah, you can create the light spectrum with the prism, but ultimately that's not going to be a bow or an arc. It only becomes an arc when you put it through a multi-layered lens. That's
Well, that's
curved.
what I'm trying to say. If you YouTube rainbow inside, I don't know what the keywords would be, but they show how they try to copy a natural rainbow that's outdoors, indoors, and they couldn't do it without a reflector. So is that reflector the lens you're talking about?
You'll have to find out in a minute because I'm going to start the live show now. Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. Now we are joined with quite a few people, as it's actually the second attempt to get this stream working. Hopefully the audio is now fixed. We shall see. I'll get some feedback from the audience in a minute after getting some hellos from the G Plus panel. So joined by Bev Try Thinking, Paul Hall, Quantum Eraser, Chocolate Saying, 10th Man and Arwin. Good to have you all. Hello, enthusiastic lot.
Are we going to continue housekeeping also?
No. I think because we've done the housekeeping already on the last show, I'll just get some introductions because this is now a live show that's working, hopefully. Can you let me know in the chat if the audio is now fixed or if it's all still terrible? Hello, everyone on the panel.
Yeah, we're good. We're good here.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking to Discord.
Yeah.
By introducing you by name, you thought I was talking to Discord. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
No, you said chat. You said in chat, and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm asking the chat to let us know if everything's okay with the audio, because I've just changed the setting.
I just went on
on
mute to check the YouTube, and the sound is coming through loud and clear, at least from the G Plus panel and you.
Okay, we'll get to Discord shortly. Okay, so hello everyone in Discord. Can you all hear me? We can't see you in the live stream for some reason, but that's another.
Hello.
Yeah, all good, all good.
Okay then. Well, we have actually got halfway through housekeeping. I mean, I think we only have about 2 questions left. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Nope.
Black Swan.
Yeah.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Impossible.
No, we definitely have containment because we have gas pressure.
Yeah, just step outside.
That actually concludes the housekeeping. As strange as that may sound, if you've just tuned in for the first time live and you didn't see the technical issues on the last show for the first 12 minutes of the live broadcast. Anyway, so what was the deal with the dude while I was trying to sort out all those technical issues? Because obviously, worst case scenario, you've got to end the stream and start again, which is what we've done. But, you know, best case scenario, you can sort it out while there's an argument going on. But I didn't know what the argument was going on. Sorry, go on, Neil.
According to him, we're so behind. There's flat Earth revelations going on, and we're stuck here in house. That's what I.
Well, he came on saying that we're not progressing the conversation. Then Elijah said, okay, I'll progress it. And then he wouldn't let Elijah talk. So the very thing he wanted, he interrupted. And then Dave Rakia said, I bet 100 to 1 any amount of money he'll interrupt. And no sooner did he say it, the guy interrupted.
I see.
I've heard that through the grapevine too about the housekeeping. Just to.
Yep, that pretty much sums it up. Exactly.
You're super, super quiet, Elijah.
I said that's exactly what happened. Yep, sums it up.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. It's just one of those people that wants to antagonise by asking you to explain something and then constantly interrupting you, or adjusting your example as you make it, or questioning your example and then going on to make their own example in the middle of yours, that sort of thing.
No, that didn't even happen. He didn't even allow me to start because he kept saying that we have been in the after show when you guys have left 6-7 hours and we have great arguments. And I was like, share one. I'll go on mute. 5 minutes later, he hasn't shared one. I come back. I say, okay, share one. He says, I'm just saying. I say, okay, shut up. I'll share one. And then he wouldn't shut up. But he did eventually just go quiet as soon as I started speaking, but it took about 15 minutes. Well, maybe I'm over exaggerating.
Yeah, they got great arguments, but they're just keeping it a secret. It's too good to share with us.
The Paul Hall, not Paul Hall. What was his name? It was another Paul. Paul Voigt. That's it. Yeah, we've got evidence of the self-perpetuating molten iron core. It's just too good to even show you. No way. Sorry, Brian?
Yeah, he's still here. He's in the after.
Well, leave him there. Leave him there. Elijah, if you're done, Bev wants to talk about something. If you're finished, Elijah.
Yeah, sure.
You're still there, Bev?
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, go on.
Yeah, well, Tony did a video the other day, and when we've been going through this geometry thing, and we've come to the definition 10 within Euclid's Elements, which is the definition for perpendicular. Now, that definition states straight lines within it. Now, Tony did a video the other day that says some sort of Latin thing that sort of says that the if something is necessarily implied within the definition, then it excludes what isn't implied. And they still don't seem to like the idea that it that I guess what we're getting stuck up on is definitions, whereas these globe earth believers seem to think that they can just make their own definitions up. So it's in the in Master B is the definition 10 within book 1 of Euclid's Elements. Now, it states specifically straight lines are needed. I would say it goes a little bit further than that, that if you were to measure an angle, any angle, you need 2 straight lines. So the fact that Euclid's book sort of defines what a perpendicular is within that statement, uses straight lines, and then later on goes to prove that that's how you do it within geometry, how you construct a perpendicular. You need straight lines. It's so they don't like it that much that they're having to go to that definition and say, well, he didn't really mean that, like he sort of, like, I think that they're trying to use the when at the beginning or something. So just trying to get a bit of clarification that everybody sort of understands that the definitions of what things mean, and that a perpendicular requires 2 lines, 2 straight lines, because they're starting to make videos now where they say it's not.
Well, if they're going to do that, and which they are, they're going to look even more stupid.
Well, thank God we have the precious ballers here to tell us what the definitions of words are. Because none of us can apparently look up definitions and speak English. It's ridiculous.
A straight line can be curved, can it not?
Oh, shit.
Who's that?
Highlander.
Are you serious?
Highlander.
Right,
A straight line
Let me give you an
can
example.
be curved. Is that what you're saying?
let me give you an example, right?
Please
Hang on,
do.
Highlander.
You
Highlander.
Jeez.
Highlander, before you go, Highlander, a line can be curved, but when it says straight line, it means a straight line. Now go on.
right. So
A
you
red
take
car can
a
be blue.
flat floor, right? And you put an indent in the middle, and you put grid lines across it. Yeah. Now the line is going straight from left to right, but it dips down in the curve. Now, is that line going straight from one side to the other?
Excuse me, Highlander.
Has it got curvature to it?
But it still dips.
Did he put
in
a
and
bend
out
in a straight line?
of
Just
the
ask us,
indent.
is it still straight?
I think
It's
so.
still a straight line.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
It can't be straight, can it?
Bev, how long in Euclid geometry in the Book of Elements? I mean, you have lines, you have segments, you have straight lines that go on either direction, never meeting, correct?
Yeah, well, what do you want a definition of? I can give you the definitions of.
Well, it was hard to understand what Highlander was actually saying. He
Yeah.
broke up a few times. But is he saying a straight line eventually comes around and touches itself?
I don't know.
No.
Highlander?
No, that's not what I was saying.
Okay, then thank you for validating what Bev said. Euclid in the first book of Elements talked about what a perpendicular is and what straight lines are. Thank you.
I guess I have to pull out Math is Fun. There's a difference between a straight line and a curved line.
What's the difference between Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry?
One has very specific definitions and proofs, and the other one isn't that geometry.
The other one, what?
Isn't. It's non that geometry. Euclidean geometry is very well defined with proofs and all sorts. Non-Euclidean geometry, by definition, is not that.
Can you give a little bit clearer description?
It's the word
right?
non.
Mm-hmm.
That unorthodox?
Well, yeah. So what type of geometry would you be looking at if you're looking at non-Euclidean geometry? Do you know?
No,
He
not
just told
Euclidean.
you that. Hold on. They've just broke that down for you. Anything that's not Euclidean.
Yeah, I'm asking for a specific example.
Oh, right. That's lovely. Thanks.
Right. Like circumdicular geometry. Your
cares?
geometry.
Is this unorthodox?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay, can you give me more than one definition for a straight line, please?
Not currently, no.
Okay, well then, what are you trying to say then?
I'm just curious if you guys know the difference between Euclidean and non-Euclidean.
It's just been defined to you 3 times. Are you satisfied that we do now? I hope so.
Well, no, I was asking for a specific example, right? That doesn't tell me he understands anything about
Sorry, do you
Euclidean
understand?
geometry or non-Euclidean
It's been explained to you. This will be the 4th time. That non simply means it's not that specific thing. So the thing that it's not specifically can be specific. So the Euclidean bit can be as specific as you like, but the non bit means generally anything outside of that. So what, you want an example of something outside a roast chicken? Roast chicken geometry is non-Euclidean. Happy?
Or pseudo-Ramonian geometry, for example.
Or any non-Euclidean. Not Euclidean.
Yeah,
Would classify
I can give you the.
What about drawing on the surface of a
definition.
sphere? Would that be non-Euclidean?
What relevance does it have? Who cares?
I think you should go
I'm
with
just
the roast
curious.
chicken geometry.
Sorry, you're just curious if
Because-
measuring a sphere is non-Euclidean.
Yes, like if we're looking at something on the surface of a sphere, in reference to that surface, is that Euclidean or non-Euclidean?
Why do you ask? Are you going to beg the question that Earth is said sphere? Why do you ask, just out of interest?
I don't know. I thought you guys were having trouble with geometry.
No, we're not having any trouble at all with anything so far. I'm asking why you would ask such a question. And I've also supposed that you're going to beg the question of a sphere Earth, based on your question. Am I wrong?
No, I just heard you guys arguing a little bit yesterday about perpendicular lines on a Euclidean surface.
Yep. Arguing. I don't think we were arguing about it.
And
debating, whatever you want to
and what's your point?
Well, if you're talking about globe Earth, that would be non-Euclidean.
No, that would be incorrect. So you're people who measure the ground, surveyors. Your surveyors, the globe surveyors, have a presupposition that they're standing on a sphere, much like you do. You declared it by asking us about spherical geometry and whether or not it was non-Euclidean, despite the fact the clue would be in the title, and it was explained to you 4 times. Nevertheless, based on their presupposition, they will draw a tangent plane. Now, the tangent bit, we've debunked with this argument called the Black Swan, where we debunked the tangent line. It's now been bent by people like you. You tell us about how it can be refracted, i.e. bent. So no longer tangent then. So we've basically debunked that bit of their presupposition. But from there on in, they're using Euclidean also. Not non-Euclidean. They absolutely, your surveyors, your global presupposing, worrying about it being global, only to then survey it as flat with Euclidean principles. Were you aware of that?
No, but I'm glad you mentioned.
You weren't aware of that. Just no. So you're wrong. You've just asserted that if we're surveying it as a global surveyor, then we wouldn't be using Euclidean principles. You are incorrect.
Depends on, right, if can the tangent be to a curve?
Sorry, no. Sorry, mate. You've just told us that we won't be using Euclidean principles. We will, you're wrong. Can I get an acknowledgement? Can I get a woo-ha, cowboy?
It depends on specifically what you're doing.
No, it doesn't depend on anything, you dipshit. I'm going to start getting pissed off if you don't accept this, because you don't know, and I'm telling you. Fact. Your global surveyors use Euclidean principles. Shut up. I'm telling you. Not asking. Not debating. Telling. Fact. Your global surveyors use Euclidean principles. That would be plumb lines, moving vertically, and levels being level. That is what they do. Contrary to what you asserted, you are wrong. They will be using Euclidean.
Do you have a reference?
Well, the geodetic surveyors themselves and their handbook, yes, definitely. Presented here several occasions by both Bev Try Thinking, who's currently on the panel, and Brian's Logic, from their own alma mater handbooks.
So what makes the distinction there?
Sorry,
between
can I get a woo-ha? Can I get a woo-ha? Don't ask me a question. You were incorrect. You said they won't be using Euclidean. Yeah, they will. You are wrong. I don't need a question. I need an acknowledgement of how wrong you are.
Talking about drawing on the surface.
What, like surveyors?
Sphere.
Like surveyors
that
do?
Would be
like, sorry, in a hypothetical surface that you will beg the question of being Earth surface and spherical. No, we're not doing that. You're saying that if we're measuring Earth, we won't be using Euclidean. You're wrong. And it's now taken about 4 minutes of me pointing it out over and over again, and you just going on to another different subject or segue or question. Now, I want you to acknowledge how wrong you are. Your global surveyors will have flat Earth principles, plumb lines moving vertically, levels being level. All of those principles will be in effect for your global surveyors when they map out a flat bit of land after presupposing and worrying about their religious belief. But all of their measurements will be on a flat plane and using Euclidean geometry, not global geometry. You're wrong. Now, I've said that, 5 times? Don't need a question, I just need you to acknowledge how wrong you are, unorthodox, because you are wrong, and I'm telling you how wrong you are.
I never claim that any specific...
Yo, fuckwit! You told us that if we're measuring Earth, we won't be using Euclidean. Yes, we will, you're wrong. That's what you claimed, I'm telling you how wrong you are. Don't tell me you didn't claim it, you did. I'm correcting you.
You misunderstood me or I misspoke.
No, I didn't misunderstand the part where you said we won't be using Euclidean geometry if we're measuring Earth. You're wrong. I didn't misunderstand.
Nathan.
Sorry, if you're going to accuse me of having poor hearing, then you're going to get told off. I understood implicitly when you said if measuring Earth we will not be using Euclidean geometry. That is what you said. I didn't misunderstand. I haven't got poor hearing. I heard your incorrect assertion and I've corrected it. You just yet to acknowledge how wrong you are about your global surveyors using flat Earth principles when they map out a presupposed tangent point with a zenith that runs from the centre to a flat plane that uses Euclidean principles. 6 times I've told you that. You haven't acknowledged it once.
You hear me? I just told you either you misheard me or I misspoke on the two, and you didn't seem to understand me.
Oh, you definitely misspoke when you said that non-Euclidean will be applied to Earth. Wrong. You misspoke.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not okay. Don't come on my show and talk shit. You unbelievable retard. Okay? No, that's where you get an unbelievable tongue lashing. Don't come here and tell an audience of hundreds of people that non-Euclidean will be used. You stupid boy. What the hell are you doing opening your mic talking to my audience? With your nonsense and stupid assertions that take 10 minutes to be corrected, with you arguing and talking through and asking me about whether or not I've understood your stupidity. You stupid idiot. It's not okay. Don't talk crap.
Nathan, people make mistakes.
Shut up! You don't make mistakes here and go on about them for 10 minutes with me correcting you. You just acknowledge your mistake quickly. We've gone on about this for 10 minutes without acknowledgement. Now you go, oh right, I was just wrong, okay. What, 10 minutes after I've got exasperated telling you how bloody wrong you are with your global assertion that's actually a flat earth proof? These surveyors, these global surveyors with their worry about globes before they do any bloody measurements, their worry is translated directly into flat earth measurements. And you've asserted otherwise. Not okay! An outrage!
Okay, you have to forgive me, Nathan.
No, I don't forgive you. You're a globe-believing zealot liar. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. I don't forgive you. I despise you.
Okay. Well...
No, it's not okay. You are a disgusting liar. You've come here to lie to hundreds of people, and after I correct you 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, okay. No, not okay. A world lie that you're perpetuating, moron, with your stupidity and your ignorance. It's not okay.
Well, usually the way to convince people isn't calling retards, but to have like a normal discussion with them.
No, people come here like you and demonstrate that they're retards by demonstrating their ignorance. They say things like non-Euclidean geometry will be used to measure Earth. That's factually incorrect. And then after 10 minutes of me correcting you with little bits of obfuscation and you asking me questions, eventually when you understand how stupid, incorrect and misleading your statement was, you just say, okay, like it doesn't matter. No, the entire world is under this misapprehension that you're punting, but I'm correcting.
That's not what I wanted to discuss anyways, Nathan.
Oh, is that not what you wanted to discuss? Shout out to Awakened Jaguar. Bless up. Check out Awakened Jaguar. Well, nice self-promotion, but thank you very much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. It's not what we don't care what you wanted to talk about. You've already demonstrated you're a stupid retard. So why would we care what you now want to talk about, given that so far in this show you've already demonstrated how wrong you are about your assertions of non-Euclidean geometry, which are not applied.
Nathan.
And now you're interrupting me.
Misspoke.
Like we need to hear from you. No, we don't.
I misspoke?
Yes, you did misspoke, not if. This is the kind of thing that pisses me off. Not if. Emphatically, yes, you definitely misspoke. You were wrong. I corrected you. It's now 12 minutes later.
Yes, I'm trying to move on, Nathan.
Oh, really? I don't want to move on. You see, your surveyors are proving it's flat. We've got this assertion that plumb lines move to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. They don't. Your surveyors won't hold that axiom when they're measuring Earth, as you asserted. When you said non-Euclidean? No. They'll be holding true to Euclidean principles, mate. That's pretty fundamental to the lie of the globe.
Nathan, we are.
No, now it's time to interrupt me, is it? You wanted a different subject. I don't. Your surveyors are proving it's flat. They're proving it's flat, other than their assumption of a tangent that we've debunked.
I'll give you that, okay? I'll give you that. That's what they use. And then,
Oh, that's ever so kind of you. Welcome to Flat Earth. You've got nothing to prove it's a globe, then.
no, what I want to talk about isn't in relationship to it being a globe.
Well, it's
It's
not
about
a globe,
the black
so.
swan and the logic used in it. When I'm racing around, I'd love for. So I came up with like a note, black swan, and you have to.
Hold on. Am I getting choppy audio from G+? Can somebody say something in there? I heard chocolate, okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I'm in here.
No, it sounds fine.
I think I've got a bit of an echo.
Yeah, somebody's got an echo.
Go ahead, 50. What's your question about the logic of the black swan?
Well, I kind of like wrote it out, so I don't know where you want me to send it. But it's like a presentation. It's basically just like one piece of paper.
Just read it. I'll just read out this super chat and then you can just read it. So, Wiki says Euclidean geometry comes from Euclid and its assumptions. Euclid's method consists in assuming a small set of universally appealing axioms and debunking many other presuppositions, theorems from these. Sorry if I butchered that. I've got terrible glare off my screen. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, James. Really appreciate your support.
So you want to present this? You just want me to say it?
Go ahead. If you've just got a piece that you've pre-prepared, that's fine. It's not like you're citing your own piece. Just read it out.
Okay, let me pull it up. I was hoping you'd show it to your audience, but I can just read it. That's fine.
Is it a diagram or something? Yeah, sure.
So, well, it's basically I'm taking the logic of the black swan and applying it to something.
Did you post it in Discord? I can go in Discord and get it. And
So you
post
took
it.
the logic from the black swan.
But let's not jump with the gun. Let's see what he's got to offer first. If someone can bring up chocolate, that'd be great.
The chocolate's gonna get it. There
Did
it
you
is.
post it in Discord
It's in,
already?
Of course, we're asking for a 50 presentation, so it's long, protracted silences and pissing around. What a shock. Just get on with it. Read out whatever you've got to read out. This is a live show. What's your problem? When I'm talking, you can constantly be talking. Yet when it's time for you to present long silences, lots of pissing around, just read it out. Tell us what you've got.
Wow.
Okay, well, chocolate should be getting it, and he should be presenting it soon.
No, come on, read it. Read
So
it.
what I did.
I want to hear you read it.
Okay.
Come on.
I'm gonna read it. I was just hoping he'd have it on screen while I'm reading.
Get on with it.
So this is what I did here. I am. So what I did here was I looked at the logic used in the black swan, and I basically made my own argument. Okay. And argument here. So this is called the dome killer, right? It's the death of the flat-tard, never witnessed, non-antecedent dome again. Okay. If the Earth is flat with a dome to contain the atmosphere, then every pressure measurement must conform to Guy Lussac's law, which states that the temperature increases, pressure must also. Modus tollens. Holy smokes, Batman, it's going to hurt. If P, then Q, not Q, therefore not P. If the Earth is flat with a dome to contain the atmosphere, P, then every pressure measurement must conform to Guy Lussac's law, which states if temperature increases, pressure must also increase. Q.
It does. You're a moron.
Q. 5/2020 at 7:53 p.m. The temperature was measured to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure was measured to be 992. On 6/8/2020 at 5:53 a.m., the temperature was measured to be 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and the pressure was measured to be 101.7 or 1,017.7.
What's the gas pressing on?
So there you go.
Sorry, without
there you go.
you
There's no doubt.
said you opened with just like a hand wave to the whole antecedent consequent thing. Did you think that just hand waving that it's an antecedent would work with a follow-up formal logical fallacy?
Right.
I posted it in Ballbusters if you guys want it.
I don't really need it, Mr. Black Swan fallacy. Where'd you get the pressure from?
Yeah, that was my first question.
From molecules colliding with each other.
That doesn't create gas pressure.
Really? Go ahead, Nathan.
It doesn't create gas pressure. They've got to collide with something, i.e. the walls of a container, a surface area. How do you measure pressure?
Who says they have to collide?
What's the measurement for pressure?
The definition!
What's the definition of pressure? Gas pressure, what is it?
Who says?
The change of momentum on a hypothetical surface area.
Surface area? Surface area. Something to press on.
Right, a foot.
Something to press on.
In front of your face.
Sorry, something to press on.
But there's still.
Hello, why am I being interrupted? So surface area, something to press on then.
A foot in front of your face. There's no walls, but there's still air pressure, Nathan.
And so what? It's a necessary it's a necessary antecedent consequent deal. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
I have no clue what would make you say that. The only thing needed.
I didn't say it. Conspiracy Cat said it. I did not say that. That's a quote from Conspiracy Cats. Quote: "Without the container, there can be no pressure." I didn't say that. Conspiracy Cats did. Maybe take it up with him. It was a quote.
Why did he say that?
Excuse me. Hold on, Chocolate.
Why would he say something like that?
Yeah, why would he say something like that? A globehead teacher.
He misspoke.
He didn't misspoke. He also said it in 2018. Without the balloon, there is no pressure. He just said it in a slightly different way with a demonstration on a blackboard, with a balloon being the necessary antecedent to have gas pressure. Because, quote, "Without the container, there can be no pressure, because there wouldn't be a surface area, as per the definition of gas pressure, and what it needs to be in existence. That would be a surface area to press upon. A container. So your hand wave of the antecedent consequent relationship that acquires you gas pressure in the first instance didn't work, followed up by a formal logical fallacy. No. It's still an antecedent consequent relationship. Without the container, there can be no pressure. Take it up with Conspiracy Cats if you think he misspoke, because without the balloon, there is no pressure." End quote, Conspiracy Cats 2018. He definitely didn't misspoke. He teaches this to children.
Okay, well, then he's mistaken or wrong.
No, he's a teacher. He's being paid to do this by the government. Big Daddy, the one you worship. They pay him to teach kids this. He definitely didn't misspeak. He's a teacher.
And he referenced an out-of-date reference.
Out of date? It's an antecedent consequent relationship. They don't go out of date. It's not a bloody piece of cheese.
There's gas pressure, but there's no walls, Nathan.
Sorry, what's the definition of gas pressure again? Force over a given area. Right. Something to press upon then. That'd be the container, mate. So without the container, there can be no pressure. Asking me about this isn't going to change that.
No, it's the change of momentum on the hypothetical surface area.
Sorry.
It's kind of shitty to have a hostile witness.
On the walls of its container. Chem text. Pressure is caused by gas molecules hitting the walls of the container. Kinetic molecular theory. Rapid motion and collision of molecules with the walls of the container causes pressure. You cheesehead. You're a numpty.
Right? That's not
Did he say hypothetical container like a scuba tank?
Hypothetical container, like the Carmen line. Hypothetically, not really anything to press upon. But no, you do actually need an actual container for the gas to actually press upon. Hypothetically, on the not really is level, like your globe belief with its gas pressure not expanding into a vacuum. Yeah, that's on the not really is level though. In the really is level, gas needs something to press upon, otherwise the gas fills the space that it has available to it.
But if you look outside, right, there's air pressure, but there's no.
Yeah, so therefore there must be containment. Without it, there'd be no pressure. So when we look outside and experience gas pressure, we know with all certitude that there must be containment.
No, you don't, because all you need for pressure is molecules moving.
No, you need them to exert a force on an area, as per the definition you gave us.
No,
unorthodox. What
definition I gave you.
Unorthodox. Do you drive a car without a tire?
No, let me give you an example, okay?
No, unorthodox.
3 feet in front of you.
Unorthodox. You drive car
surface area. There will be
Unorthodox,
14.7 pounds
yeah, you will
branch.
rumpus me on this one.
It's just going to trip
Unorthodox. Unorthodox.
But anyways.
Hello. Unorthodox.
Hello.
I will listen to your nonsense if you show me your car without the necessary antecedent of rubber tires for your air to hang in there. Will you do that, please?
You guys are saying that there's no reason for anyone to suspect that that's a necessary.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me? Your molecules are going to form a form of a tire, is what you're saying.
We do that in toroidal fields in fusion.
He's not listening to you. I'll try again for you, 10th man. You've made your point twice. So if you're a tiny little bug inside a tyre, it's not moving, but it's at a higher pressure than atmospheric pressure because you pumped up the tyre. And the little bug puts its little bug hand in front of its face, and what do you know? It's 30 psi. Yeah? But without the tyre, the bug wouldn't experience that. Now, while I don't know what our metaphorical tyre is, because I have no expert on the sky, I know that there must be containment. Because in the same scenario that you've given us with a bug just shrunk down to be inside of a tyre, without that tyre, there wouldn't be a higher pressure than the atmospheric pressure. And without the container, there'd be no atmospheric pressure, because the gas would just expand in all directions at high velocity and fill whatever volume it has available to it, which would be all of outer space, therefore debunking outer space, making outer space fake. You can't have gas pressure without a container.
That's just a blatant assertion without any factual basis whatsoever.
And your example, Nathan,
no worries. Can you show me? Hold on. Can you show me gas pressure without a container beyond your fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum? Can you demonstrate that you can have gas pressure without a container? Because I can back my necessary antecedent consequent relationship by showing every single example ever of gas pressure having containment.
Absolutely, not even that. I can do a better one. I can provide you with a demonstration you can do yourself that will show you.
No, you're not going to reverse the burden of proof. I'm asking you to demonstrate gas pressure without a container. You show me.
Just a second. Let me find the mic.
Turn out the lights. Party's over.
Party's over.
But
yeah, I'm not going to have you blow down your mic. Your old jokes are crap. Hold on.
Something a second grader knows is apodictic and dubitable. We have to argue as adults because you're a retard that got a religious belief that just got pummeled. It's crumbling all around you. It's over. Okay?
Well, let me give you an example, right? So I'm fanning the microphone right now. I don't know if you can hear it. But
oh my God.
You've done this before. You blew down your microphone. You didn't acknowledge my example of the little bug, did you? Now, if the bug flies around in that higher pressure zone, he might cause differentials also. But without the tyre around him, he's not going to be able to create any of those differentials in that higher pressure system that's inside the tyre. So you blowing on something doesn't in any way change the necessary antecedent consequent relationship that is gas pressure and its containment.
Is he blowing?
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely. That makes no sense, right? So If we have molecules moving, that's all that's required. I have no clue.
No, what you're saying, that you can say that having gas means you can beg the question of a sky vacuum. No, it's having gas isn't proof of a sky vacuum, you complete moron. No, that's not enough. In fact, it's just a fundamentalist religious zealot's assertion that he's got a belief that the sky's a vacuum in violation of natural law. Not only is it not enough, it's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, mate. Enough to say, no, I've got gas, therefore the sky's vacuum. No, it's not enough, mate. It violates natural law.
I think you're just being silly, right?
No, it's called the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy would increase. It's a natural law, a law of nature, applicable always. Not just a silly belief. Your silly belief that you think is affirmed by seeing gas pressure and being able to measure it, and that somehow affirms the idea that we've got a vacuum of the sky, with the gas just hanging around at the Kármán line going, you know what, I'm not going to expand anymore. And that's just ludicrous. Not affirmed by the fact we've got gas. The gas affirms the fact that it must be contained, because every single example you'll ever have of gas at pressure will be contained. Now, unless you can show me otherwise, that necessary antecedent-consequent relationship will always hold true.
That's a baseless assertion, Nathan.
No, I can demonstrate gas at pressure in a container. I've asked you to demonstrate otherwise by showing me gas pressure without a container.
And I did.
No, you didn't. You blew on your mic. You created a gas pressure differential. Where did you get the gas pressure in the first place?
Moving the molecules.
Where did you get the molecules at pressure to move in the first place?
From the air around me.
Sorry, and does that air have a sky vacuum above it?
It has a gradient.
And does it have a sky vacuum called outer space, as asserted by the heliocentric religion? The most powerful vacuum known to man. Outer space, a sky vacuum. Why can't you just say yes? Is it because it's fundamentally ludicrous? And that would mean that the sky is an available volume for the gas that you've got here to be able to blow on your mic, because you've already got gas at pressure. It wouldn't be here if the sky was a vacuum. Therefore, the fundy religious zealot, globe-believing dick, can't even say yes when I ask him if he's got that pressure with a sky vacuum above it. He says it's got a pressure gradient. Yeah, we've both got a pressure gradient, that's self-evident. I asked if you got a fucking sky vacuum!
You're just religiously asserting there's a dome and...
Sorry, I didn't say a damn thing about a dome. What I did say, and he can't admit, is that his fundy globe belief leads him to think that the sky is a vacuum, a massive space for all the gas we're breathing to fill. But he can't admit it, even though it's a fundamental premise of his rhetoric. He's got to talk about a straw man dome. Pathetic.
I have evidence for the sky vacuum. It's a great...
No, you don't. It's a violation of natural law. You definitely don't have evidence. I've asked you twice to show me gas pressure without a container, and you've created a gas pressure differential and failed to account for where you got the gas pressure from in the first place. That's where we're at.
Well, then how do you explain this?
Oh, it's a question for me then. Burden of proof reversal fallacy time. How do you explain it? Well, we've definitely got containment. That's how I explain it. There must be containment.
We know, according to Guy Lussac's law and the logic used...
It's time to reassert your logical fallacy that we pummeled earlier. No, we were talking about the hand wave of the antecedent-consequent relationship that falls into the definition of gas pressure that you gave us. The hand wave to the antecedent, not the logical fallacy you gave? Yeah, that bit was pretty much ignored by all of us because it was a joke. But your hand wave to antecedents of containment, which is in the definition of gas pressure, that would be the surface area you talked about. That's the bit we're focused on, mate. You pathetic weasel.
Well, you have to connect the two, right? I'm using your logic to show that it's impossible that there's a dome. It's your logic.
It's
our logic.
No, you didn't.
No, we're getting to the bit where you hand waved the antecedent. You said with a hand wave that this demolishes the antecedent of a container, and we've now gone through the fact that it doesn't. So regardless of what logic you formed, the antecedent of containment is still absolutely part of the definition of gas pressure. You described it as the area that it's going to press upon, and then equivocated with the gas banging against each other. No, mate. Ludicrous. The gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum.
But air on Earth.
But the gas would fill the space if the sky was a vacuum. And that's your fundy belief, and you're saying there can't be a dome, therefore must be my alternative of sky vacuum? No, mate. We've pummeled that. Antecedent for the gas that we're breathing must be contained. That's what I'm responding with. Let's not have the same logical fallacy for the fifth time.
You don't see the problem here, Nathan, right? I'm using...
No, I see that there's not a sky vacuum, that we must be contained. I haven't asserted dome. I've said that to have gas pressure, there must be containment. That's what I've asserted.
You don't see a problem here, right?
No, I don't. Second time. No, I don't see any problem. I absolutely see a problem in there being a sky vacuum. There must be containment. I didn't use the word dome. I don't know what the sky is. But you fundies think it's a vacuum. That would be a space for the gas to fill. And fill it must. It's called entropy, natural law, second law of thermodynamics. To assert we don't have some form of containment is a violation of that natural law. So that's your problem. I don't have a problem. I know we've got containment, we've got gas. Just go outside. You'll experience gas pressure. Therefore, there must be containment. Quote, Conspiracy Cats, 2019. Without the container, there can be no pressure.
Luz-Deck's law.
So does it have anything to do with gas requiring something to press upon as per the definition of gas pressure, and you having a fundamentalist religious belief that you've got this high pressure and then next to it 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum with the gas not filling it in violation of natural law? You think that, no, when we assert that this is all bollocks, you can't possibly have this, it violates natural law, the gas would fill the space. You say, no, I can violate the necessary antecedent of containment with a hand wave and then deliver a formal logical fallacy, which I'll harper on about for about 20 minutes. That's what you think. No, you still need containment.
What was my fallacy? I mean, it should show you that there's kind of an...
Yeah. James Richard, another shout out to you, my friend. Nathan, you and QE should address what the assumptions are all about in Euclidean geometry definition on one of your shows. We have. Well, I haven't. Bev definitely has, though. Would you be willing to do that? Why would there be assumptions in math? Why would there be axioms in math, Bev?
But they're the rules that you go with, right?
Yeah, you've got to have a fundamental premise.
Yeah, they're not difficult. They're pretty basic.
Yeah, there's always going to be certain laws and rules that apply to anything like that. You know, you've got to have, for instance, you can't have the law of, what is it, non-contradiction. You can't have something be one thing and not be another thing. You can't have the number one be the number two as well, for instance. Yeah. Well, those are rules. They've got to be applied in maths.
Yeah, they try and define. At the beginning, he tries to say with there's a logic bit at the beginning that says you can't really define a straight line because it's an element. It's something that describes other things. So how do you define it other than to say what it isn't? So I mean, the rules of Euclidean geometry are very basic, and it's basically follows a logical process. I mean, all of the things it says within the definitions are proved within the book later on. So, I mean, all of this discussion about whether perpendicular lines can be straight or not. I mean, you go through the book and go through the procedure to prove that you need straight lines. You have to have a compass and a straight edge, and you need a straight line to be able to construct a perpendicular to that straight line. You have to. So I mean, there's a proof in there. So yeah, like, well, hold on, I don't know how you were meant to do anything about that. You know, it's stood the test of time for thousands of years. Who asked that question?
Bev, you remember the drawing I sent you? You remember the
Sorry?
drawing I sent you a while back?
I don't know. People have sent me all sorts of different drawings. Was it like a cartoony one?
Okay. Yeah, it was basically a man walking on Earth, dropping plumb lines and making perpendiculars, right? And I was telling you that you're confusing the datum with the shape of the ground, right? They're not the same.
So yeah,
But
the
anyway.
datum says it's a sphere. The shape of the ground says it's flat. That's why when your surveyors survey it, they survey it with Euclidean principles. It's what we discussed at the beginning of the show. Took 10 minutes. Do you remember? You were all okay with it? You understood that they were using Euclidean principles and surveying the land as flat. The land says it's flat. The datum says it's a sphere.
Well,
Don't you think that's a bit of an issue? Kind of like...
Yeah, that's a bit of an issue for you because the datum's not the land we're standing on. But when they survey that land, they survey it as flat with flat principles and tangents not applied other than their presupposition. Their tangent's been debunked, however. So their tangent plane, the two things they describe, the first is not relevant to the second. So they just assume that they're on a sphere when they plot out where they are. They draw a straight line from the top of their head. They call that their zenith. And from there on in, they plot out a flat plane to actually measure with Euclidean principles. Flat. Levels being level. So none of these principles, these Euclidean principles that they actually use as tools to measure the land, ever show it as being anything other than flat. That is a very big problem for you if you believe it's a globe, because it isn't.
What's the datum?
And, I mean, when you're talking about non-Euclidean versus non-Euclidean...
Sorry, they're not using non-Euclidean. They're using Euclidean. So we're not talking about non-Euclidean versus Euclidean. Your geodetic surveys are using Euclidean. I took 10 minutes and you said you're okay with it. Now you seem to have had amnesia. No, yes, they are definitely using flat earth principles to measure the flat land. Now, if it was a globe, none of those principles and axioms would ever hold true ever, and it would be a very real problem because they couldn't actually do anything. But in reality, they have to transpose it as flat when they're measuring it, because it is flat. Their presupposition of their zenith point on a presupposed sphere Earth means nothing because these vertical tools always sit vertical. They don't point to the centre of a sphere, ever. And that's not how your geodetic surveys use them, ever.
When you measure them.
Yeah, with flat Earth principles. They're measuring Earth with flat Earth principles on a presupposed tangent, which we've debunked, plane. That would be to say that actually measuring it flat, that's what they're actually doing, with Euclidean principles holding true.
Euclidean geometry is a flat Earth principle?
Yeah, Euclidean principle would be that two perpendicular lines will always run parallel to each other. They're not ever going to point to the presupposed centre of a presupposed sphere Earth, ever. And your measurements from your globe-believing zealot side of this argument also use those flat principles. You were okay with this at the beginning of the show. Now you're not so okay with what, because it debunks the idea that you're on a sphere? Yeah, it does.
Like any shape with Euclidean geometry. Non-Euclidean only comes down when you talk about drawing on the surface.
Yeah, it only comes down to when we're actually measuring reality. Yeah, it only comes down to the fact that when we measure reality, it's flat as a pancake. That's right. I mean, you can beg the question all day long and apply datums to it before you actually measure anything. But when you actually do anything with the ground, it's flat.
When have you measured?
Not me. You're presupposing global geodetic surveyors. They go through this process of begging the question that they're on a sphere. Then they apply Euclidean flat Earth measurements to the flat plane they're measuring. How many times? Is it because it's painful that you don't like that your global presupposing surveyors are still using flat Earth principles to do their actual measurements? You don't like that, right? I wouldn't either. Because you'd hope your reality in a globe matched up with the actual bloody measurements. It just doesn't.
Can I remind unorthodox you've been around. Let me remind you, Andrew Thomas Young did the same thing. He said all of his refraction calculations were based on a plane.
He
Now,
also
how in the
says
world?
that looming
Hang on,
refraction
hang on,
causes
hang
Earth's
on, hang on,
concavity
hang
to be
on.
diminished. And you just
Hey, running mouth. Listen, how in the world could he ever say that if he lives on the globe? That would mean that Andrew Thomas Young switched the globe reality to a plane to study refraction, and then had to take geometric considerations to apply it to a globe. But if he took the actual calculations on the globe, he would never say, all my calculations are based on calculations on a plane.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
Sounds like a Native American warrior title.
Yeah.
What's the issue
What's up?
now?
Hold on, you
I
guys
just
came in
proved
with a whole bunch of shit. That's for sure.
the issue is I just proved a dome. Essentially, I can post.
You just proved coherency.
You proved a dome. Go
Chewie,
ahead.
he needs more punishment. Abuse him a little more.
Yeah, I
No.
used the exact logic used in the Black Swan
you
to show
didn't,
that
Sani.
a dome is an impossibility.
Who claims dome?
You didn't.
Well,
What
you could have a
said,
dome. I'm
what
not
you brought
disagreeing with
forth applies right at this
you.
moment.
Could have a dome.
The dome is not affected
There it is.
by
The
your
number one
supposed
myth of the
proof.
flat earth ever witnessed.
What flat earther would not say there's a dome? We agree. Come on.
Well, it's a straw man of the dome in the
Sequencer.
first place, you know.
That's not
But
the
even
argument
the
about.
supposed argument
Well-
you brought forth
Correct.
against it doesn't apply at all. Just a baseless assertion. I don't even know how you came to that.
The Black Swan.
Baseless assertion?
Unorthodox. You
Because they
take
think
such
it
a
is
beating
indulgence,
already.
actually
Should
increases
take a
that.
break.
That happens. It happens right here. At ground level.
Arwen, do you want to
That's your
defend the dome? You want to go ahead and defend the dome real quick?
It's just a container.
Defend
Just
the
a container.
real
Let's
quick,
move on.
Arwen.
Just a container. Let's move
Yeah.
on.
The geometry of the container is not in question. The geometry of the Earth's surface, however, is.
Exactly.
No, there can't be a container, according to guys like
No, there must be a container.
Well, then there can't be gas pressure then.
Without the container, no pressure, unorthodox. You don't have to like it. You can keep chanting your religious belief, but it's in violation of natural law, gas law. Everyone on your own side who actually understands how gas works, you know, you can challenge this all day long. It doesn't change the reality of the situation. It's part of the definition, the surface area that the gas presses on. And there's a bazillion quotes that we can give you from people like NASA who make it absolutely plain that gas, they were given to you earlier, QE rattled them off. You just didn't listen. You don't like it. It's okay. Share your pain.
Just like his teacher, because unorthodox in the past said that Zanuck is his teacher. They deny science. They're both science deniers.
No, he's using.
I'm talking about here of scientific law, right? That should tell you there's an issue, right? We have one scientific law
scientific
saying
law.
that there
That's a
can't be a
misnomer.
container.
not a scientific law.
So there's a bit of
He won't be corrected. He will plow on. He will plow on indefinitely. There's no way he'll let you correct him, QE.
Scientific laws are misnomers. There are no scientific laws. There are only natural laws. Natural laws do not go through the scientific method. Duh.
Whatever you want to call it, natural law. We have a natural law here showing that you cannot have a dome, right? But you're saying there has to be a
No,
dome.
the law doesn't do anything.
Sorry, why
It's
does he
just
do
the
that?
Guy
Why do they do
Lusak's
that?
oil gas law, Charles' law are just keeping different aspects of pressure, volume, and temperature at constants and adjusting the other two. You don't even know what you're talking about.
And that
You're a
was my
T1
clown.
over T1 equals T2 over T2.
I don't give
That's
a
what I'm talking.
shit. Each have volume in their formulas. Can you show me volume without a container?
The volume is constant. It's the same on both sides
Can
of
you
the
show
equation.
me volume of a gas without a container?
Well, sorry to get in your way, John, but
Yeah, no. Can you show volume?
It's not in there.
Can you show volume that are in all three? Boyles, Charles, Guy Lusak's. Show volume without a container right now.
Closed container, open container.
Are you gonna come over?
Oh my God!
How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this?
Show volume without a container.
No,
My
yeah.
definition.
out, man.
No, I'm actually getting
Billy,
very
go.
curious now as to why he thinks this supposed Gay-Lussac's law cannot happen with in a dome-based flat Earth conception. Like, why? It doesn't even state as to the impossibility of it. Like this assumption that the pressure temperature division is not possible or something is out of whack. No, it doesn't even address it. It's just a blank assertion. This can't work with a dome with no reason whatsoever why. It baffles me, guys.
It's perfect logic that's identical to the black swan lie.
It's not. That's Modus Tollens. You don't. Why are you putting a black swan in this? You're a numpty.
I basically copy and pasted and just replaced
You're
a
a
couple of things.
numpty.
And that's the problem. There's a problem with your logic then.
There's not a problem
Or
with
the next-
logic. For God's sake.
Okay, well then there's no.
There isn't no. What's the logic in gas laws?
Argumentation.
Please give me the
If there's
syllogism.
no problem with the logic. If
Give me
there's
the
no
syllogism
problem with the
for gas
logic,
laws.
then there's.
Give me the logic for gas laws. Running mouth. Give me the. I want the syllogism for gas laws.
Yeah, ever heard of atmospheric pressure?
Yeah,
Do you
that's
know
gas
what that is?
pressure.
Oh, ever heard of red herring moving on to another subject because you're stuck again, as usual, ballers?
No, we're not stuck.
What's the atmosphere made out
That
of?
actually
What's the
explains
atmosphere
why
made
you
of?
are stuck.
Well done.
What's the atmosphere made of? What does atmo mean?
Pressure.
Gases?
What does
Oh,
sphere mean?
gas pressure then. Because if you say atmospheric pressure is not gas pressure, you just violated the law of identity, numpty.
Yeah, that's what sphere meant. That's a fundamentalist zealot's presupposition about the shape of the Earth.
Any pressure in the container.
Really? So it
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
Yeah,
loads of them.
really.
work or something.
Yeah, like tangent
What's
plane.
the definition of gas pressure? Citation, please. With your definition.
You're not going to be able to do this.
What's
Oh,
the
you want me
definition
to
of
use
gas
your
pressure,
sources like I did last time, QE? Remember that?
Numpty? What's
mean
the
that's-
definition of gas pressure and provide citation?
What's the definition of
momentum.
atmospheric pressure?
We've all just established what atmosphere's component parts are. Atmo, that would be air. That's gas. And sphere, fundamentalist zealot's presupposition. So we've already established what the root words are. Now we're getting to the first part of the first root word. That would be atmo, air. Gas pressure, what is it?
Right, but what's the definition of atmospheric pressure? You
Yeah,
just,
so we've broken down the word
dissecting
into
the
air.
word.
So we've already established half of this word is your
No,
fundamentalist religious
you're just
belief.
dissecting
I'm
the
answering
word.
you. I've
That's
answered
not
you
the
already. You've
definition.
ignored me. Now you're talking through me. So after I answer you, please acknowledge my answer. Let's see how that works so we don't get back and forth with you seeming to repeat your claim, having completely ignored me. So that word, atmosphere, is broken down into two parts. The first part is atmo. That means air. Now, air is gas. That's the first part of the word, so we're talking about gas. Our question, that's been obfuscated with this question from you about atmosphere and what defines that, is being answered now. I'm going to ask you to summarise my reply afterwards. Atmo, that's air. That's gas. That's contextually our question then, right? Yeah, definitely our question. How do you have that gas pressure without a container? Yeah, this is definitely our question. Not your question about atmo with your fundamentalist religious presupposition of a sphere Earth attached to air. So air, fundy presupposition, what's the definition of that? Now you've got it. It's gas at high pressure. What's pressure? Gas pressure specifically.
I said atmospheric pressure.
Yes, so he is going to ignore me. He's not going to repeat my summing up of his question. What's atmospheric pressure defined as? I've told him atmo, air. Pressure that we're asking about. And then his fundamentalist sphere Earth belief tagged on to the end. So I've answered him, and now he's going to ask it again. Right, shithead?
I said atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, and I've answered you. I've told you what it is. Your fucking presupposition of a sphere Earth and atmo. That's air. Are you deaf?
You're forgetting the word pressure.
No, I'm not forgetting anything. Atmo, air, sphere, fundy presupposition. I've not forgotten anything. I've not missed anything out. I've summarised it concisely. You asked, I've answered. You've not repeated it back. You've reasserted that I haven't addressed it 3 times. You're an asshole.
Yeah, that's not what atmosphere is.
Yes, that's exactly what atmosphere is. That's how it's defined. That's what it is. That's a fact. You don't have to like it. Because what? In your definition of atmosphere, air sphere, gas sphere, it's somehow going to be getting around the fact that you can't have gas pressure without a container in your dictionary definition of what atmo, air, sphere is, when it's just a definition that's going to be hinged around your presupposition that Earth's spherical. No, I don't think so, mate. It's got somehow this little bit of presuppositional sphere Earth belief in the title. Atmosphere. So it's obviously going to be hinged around your religious belief now, isn't it? Your definition. But the first bit is talking about atmo. That's air, gas pressure. That's the bit we're asking about. Now, I know that you want to harp on about your definitions that are intrinsically linked to your religious belief. That would be atmosphere. But we're fucking sick of it, you fucking fundy zealot. No, mate, I've defined it. You've just ignored it 5 times because you don't like the fact that you want to go to a definition that's got your zealotry summed up inside it, right? No, mate. Atmo's gas pressure.
He's religious, Nathan. Come on. He's got to believe here.
Atmo's gas pressure?
Pictures of the dome, please.
You guys have a belief here, and you're just believing it
Get rid of
stronger,
unorthodox.
no matter how hard we make our points here. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Does he understand atmo? What does atmo mean?
He doesn't care.
Air. Let's just guess here.
Air. So air is air gas. Atmo. What does not you? Don't anyone answer besides him. Who is that, by the way? Mr. Atmospheric Pressure. What does atmo mean?
What does atmospheric pressure mean?
Atmo. Can you fucking
Yeah, you
hear?
can keep screaming the same thing.
Why don't you stop? I don't understand why you
Atmo. What does atmo mean?
You're screaming so loud I can't.
Yeah, sure you are.
You know what? I'll just go and
Trolling.
kick your ass out.
Imagine not just answering that
Let me
question.
help Ed out. What is hydrostatic? Hydro, water. Static, no motion. What is numbskull? Numb, thick, muddled. Skull, head. You're a numbskull.
What does atmo mean? Essay.
I've got it on screen if it would help you.
Well, we don't have a clue, I
Essay.
guess. No answers.
Thanks, Paul.
Atmo.
What's Lusek's law state?
What does atmo mean?
Nathan just defined it as gas pressure.
So, no, I didn't say that. I just said atmo. I didn't get to atmospheric pressure yet. Just atmo. What does atmo mean? We got to go step by step with you retards. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Atmo.
Yes, that's what he
does it
said.
mean?
Atmo gas pressure. That's what he said.
Atmo is not. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh, so you disagree with
like,
Nathan?
when you ask them really basic bitch questions, they just don't answer.
No, Nathan.
Like, I don't get why.
Huey disagrees
Why
with
do
you.
you think this is progress? Just ignoring really basic questions. Where does that get you?
To Guy Lusek's law and the fact there can't be a dome.
So no, it doesn't get
your
you anywhere.
voice is
is the
telling me
thing.
you're trolling and you're literally
I'm
just
not serious, and I've just noticed that this seems to be a problem for QE and Nathan. People ask, if you're asked a really basic question, just give the answer. Why not just give the fucking answer?
Yeah, so what does atmo mean?
Yeah, I've been asking for.
No,
I've
give
been
the
asking for
answer, I'm
atmospheric
asking.
pressure
What does
for like
atmo
10
mean?
Okay,
minutes.
I'll ask you, what does atmo mean? Because he asked you about 12 times.
I posted it in live stream, so if it
So,
would help. I'm really
Come
trying to
on,
help.
Ed.
you're blaming us
Really,
for
Ed?
not answering.
This is
but
where
you're
your
answering
side is
my
at right now.
question
You
with a
can't even
question.
respond to
That's
that a simple question. What does atmo mean? This is
He
pretty sad
could,
for
but
your
he
side,
wants
bro.
to waste our time instead.
Really
Yeah,
sad.
go ahead. You keep wasting your time, bro. But you making yourself look soft out here. You and
No,
your
look
whole
like the
side.
horse's ass.
That
Continue.
too. So keep going if you want to, but what does atmo
Yes,
mean, Ed?
because we're not moving until you answer this question. What does atmo mean?
So you can't answer my question? Or...
What
I'm
does
playing word games here.
atmo
ignoring.
mean, retard?
Even Xanax like
I'll
just say,
answer
yeah,
it.
come on.
I'll answer it. It means a horse's ass.
Xanax
Yeah, you
knows he's
embarrass
over
yourself.
Xanax, even Xanax is pissed off with the obfuscation. Like, can you imagine how obfuscatory you must be to get to the point where Xanax is pissed off with you?
Wow. That's pretty bad.
Mr. Entropy is now the law is pissed off at no atmo? Wow.
What does
Crypto,
atmo
good to hear
mean?
you, brother.
What does atmo mean with sugar on top?
Yeah, it means air. Now what?
Okay, all right.
welcome. Yeah.
I'm not done yet. That was. Hold on. What is air? Is it a gas, liquid, or solid?
It's a gas.
So, atmo means
Did I just hear a
gas.
straight answer?
Atmospheric pressure. Hold on. Atmospheric pressure then means gas pressure. Follow?
No, it doesn't.
Law of identity violation. You're a numpty dipshit. Thank you.
No, it doesn't.
Dude, you just defined it. You just said atmo means air, and you said air means air is gas.
But
What's
you're
wrong with you?
leaving out the sphere. Ooh.
What?
Now it's interesting, isn't it? You're leaving out the spherical part.
Well, that's the fundamentalist
we don't even have
So I'll ask
presupposition.
again.
So we don't
So
care
I'll
about
ask
that.
again.
You have yet
What's
to
the
prove that
definition
shit.
of atmospheric
pressure.
So
Hold
where's
on,
your
hold
R?
on, guys and
Wait.
G+. Hold on, Paul.
Just remove sphere.
Hold on. He
You
wants to
didn't
tell us
answer.
how, when atmo is a combining word, the combining word that combines gas with other words, he wants us to focus on the bit that's a fundamentalist presupposition. He wants us to focus on the sphere bit. So go ahead, appeal to us paying attention to your begging the question fallacy. Go ahead.
But you didn't answer the question.
But where's your R before you go and hang yourself on the sphere?
Yeah, what's the definition
man.
of atmospheric pressure?
Right, just had a rebuttal. It's been completely ignored. Repeat it again, 10th man. Let's see if he can even acknowledge what you've just
You're
said.
simply ignoring my
He's
question.
saying-
No, you were rebutted.
No.
He wasn't. Hold on. Let's just correct what's going on. You weren't ignored. 10th man smashed your fundy presupposition into the middle of next week by asking you if you had an R. Now you're going to talk through me because I'm going to point out to an audience how it's been smashed, given that you've just ignored it and you'd prefer we moved on. Yeah, I know you're going to talk through me, asshole. Yeah. 10th man asked you if you had an R value to back up the sphere bit of atmosphere. Now, that's a rebuttal. That's not him ignoring you. That's him smashing you into the middle of next week.
Not really.
Do you have an R value for your fundy presupposition of sphere in atmosphere? Are you going to back this bit that you're telling us we need to focus on? Do you have that proof of R?
I asked you for the definition.
Oh, you're going to focus on what I've asked you for, given that you've had a rebuttal from 10th man that you've walked past? Yeah? I know you want to walk past it. We're holding your toes to the fire. No, we're not going to pay any credence to the sphere bit in atmosphere. Why? Well, because as 10th man correctly identified, you've got no proof of R. Not only have you got no proof, because you always assume R, we've demolished it. Made it completely untenable. So no, he didn't ignore you, he demolished you, mate. 10th man demolished you. You tell us we must pay attention to the sphere bit in atmosphere. We say atmo is air, and that's revolving around our question about it having pressure and pressing on something. That would be a requirement for a container. And you're saying, no, you need to pay attention to atmosphere, because I've got a presupposition of a sphere. Rebuttal? Well, where's your proof of R? Oh, well, that's just ignoring me. Where's atmosphere in your definition? No. You need an R for atmosphere. Have you got one?
I simply asked for the definition of atmospheric pressure.
And atmosphere's been broken down at nausea. It contains atmo, gas at pressure, and sphere, fundamentalist presupposition. And now you've been asked to back your presupposition that you tell us we must pay credence to by being asked if you've got proof of R.
You're either defining atmosphere or you're defining...
I'm asking for R. Do you have it? You're asked by 10th man and now you're ignoring him. You're ignoring his rebuttal, mate. He asked you for R to back this sphere bit in atmosphere. Have you got it? It just seems like you don't have it and that's why you walk past it, because it's the end of your argument. We don't need the sphere bit. We've debunked it.
Of course.
Yes, that's correct. You don't have an R. It was always an assumption anyway, but we made that assumption untenable by debunking the geometry it's based on. So you don't have a tangent, you don't have a sphere edge horizon, you don't have geometry, you don't have R. So no, you don't have the sphere in atmosphere. So telling us over and over again that we must pay attention to this sphere bit is absurd when we've debunked it. You don't have an R, as asked by 10th man. You just ignored it. Because you're an asshole. You're a zealot. You're a fundy. You don't like when your rebuttals come your way and you've got nothing in reply to them. 10th man's annihilated you. Just by merely asking for an R value, we've debunked. You don't have it, so it's the end of your assertion that we must pay attention to the sphere bit in atmosphere. You don't have an R for a sphere, so game over your claim.
Hey, I got another
You still didn't give me...
Hey, let's stick with him. Let's stick with the atmosphere. So you said atmo was gas, right?
It is.
Atmospheric pressure is what I asked about.
Said atmo was gas. Then you said sphere, right? Is sphere a shape?
Well, it has to do with the shape of the
Is
Earth, yeah.
sphere a shape? It's a closed-ended question. Yes or no?
You're not answering my question. You still
Oh
wanna
my
play
God!
word
See,
game.
he won't do it because he knows what's coming. Is a sphere a shape? So I'm taking your definition.
No,
because
I
you
know
kept on
what's
saying
coming. But
Atmosphere.
you always keep playing word
So you're
game.
gonna talk through me now, right? We're gonna get to the end. It's gonna be bad. So atmo is gas. Is a sphere a shape?
In this context, it has to do with the shape of the Earth.
Oh,
Shape.
so hold
Do you
on.
know?
Hold on.
Do you?
Hold on, QE.
No.
In this context, what the context that you demand we accept Earth's a sphere and atmo is spherical? No. That's just begging the question.
The word.
So is sphere a shape, sir?
in this context, is the shape of the
Here we
Earth.
go
That's
in
the
this
only
context.
answer you're going.
In this
So, let me
context,
just
we
get
are
to the
going
end
to be
of it.
begging the question, ladies and gentlemen. In this context, Earth must be spherical shaped, and gas is going to form a sphere shape. That's just without saying. We must assume this, according to him.
So, did you know? Let me get to the punchline. Atmosphere means gas shape. Did you know that gases don't have inherent shape? The word's a contradiction. Atmosphere.
Volumes of
No.
gas.
Gases don't have inherent shape. They conform to the shape of the container. Turn out the lights.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Now,
Actually,
let me help him out. So
to
the
the
only way
shape
is
of
You don't have to help them out, Paul. Atmospheric pressure is a contradiction in terms. Atmo means gas. Sphere is a shape. Anyone from 3rd grade above knows that gases do not have shape. Good night.
If you're ignoring gravity, then sure.
Oh, sorry, we're ignoring the fact that in his fundy belief,
You're a bonehead.
we're ignoring that in his fundy belief, gas is just maintained around a sphere. That's why they call it an atmosphere, a gas sphere, because it's not doing anything other than violating natural law, and it can't do that other than by his definition.
Gas has weight causing the gas pressure in the air. Atmospheric pressure. There you go. You're ignoring gravity. You're ignoring the shape of the Earth. You think you've learned it. You don't know anything, so that's cool.
So if gas has weight, why is it always going up?
And which gravity? Which gravity?
You don't know anything. Coming from the guy that took 15 minutes to define air, to define atmo.
Should we
Tell
just
us what
basically-
air was. That's pretty pathetic, bro.
So is your gravity down at 9.8 meters per second squares?
Yeah, so can you tell me the definition of atmospheric pressure now, or do you still don't know?
Oh, sorry, are you going to take that as a win?
Moving on to the
Are
next
you seriously going to take that as a win?
It is a win
because
because you don't know anything.
you're going to somehow be a total weasel and declare that you've got a win out of that because we're moving on. Yeah, we've absolutely nailed it. We've sang Turn Out the Lights. That doesn't mean because we're moving on that you've had a win.
But I do, because you can't tell me the definition, so I win.
It just ignores every word we say. We've defined it. We've defined that it's a contradiction in terms. We've defined that it's utilising your fundamentalist sphere belief that you don't have a proof of R for. We've proved that it's part of our question in the first instance beyond the red herring. So it's about gas pressure and it needing containment. So these are all our points. You haven't suddenly won. Why am I having to re-summarise the old point? Rather than move on. Oh, I know. Because the Fundy Zealot took us moving on to mean he's had a victory here. No, mate, you've been annihilated. You're just delusional. No, delusional, mate.
Yeah, so you're just ignoring gravity and moving on, claiming victory.
What's gravity?
Part of your argument, you snappery red herring salesman, Ed.
Yeah.
Stop fish slapping.
Oh,
It's so annoying.
Oh, are we?
Another
You're wrong.
Yes.
Are we?
You can
You're
do
wrong.
gravity.
Stop
Are
red
we?
herring fish slapping. This is not a fish slapping concept.
Gravity?
Hey, Ed, what's gravity? What is it? Define it.
I'm still waiting for the definition of atmospheric pressure.
Silence.
Graveyard, you crayon muncher. You're finished. Everyone's laughing at you.
What a joke.
Yeah, that's
You
still
want to go to gravity?
stupidity, so I don't.
We can move on to gravity if you'd like. That's not a problem.
You mean the force that's not?
I'm actually definition.
Yeah, we already gave it to you. You're a friggin' numpty dipshit whistling past the graveyard. You're a zombie.
You just played some word games and claimed victory.
That's Socratic method. That's not word games. We define words here. Socratic method. Do you know what that is?
You're just defining the parts of words, but not the whole picture.
Yeah,
That's not how.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, like
Thank you.
numbskull.
And And do you think that's some type of
and
slight? And that's what I'm
you've got the
asking you. And yes, from defining words. Yes. Socratic method. Yes.
Theory, Ed, ED stands for educationally dysfunctional, so he's never going to get it.
I know, I'm an idiot, but you don't know the definition of pressure.
Yeah, we already did. Atmospheric pressure. We already went over this. Atmo means air. Air is a gas, and sphere is a shape. That means that the word is a contradiction in terms, or the phrase. Simple. We already went over that.
No, you
just
defined.
Yeah, both parts. There's two, atmo and sphere, and both were defined.
And pressure. You're forgetting.
One was defined by one of them was defined by you.
The parts, but not the picture. It's a word game.
Sorry, word game. Are you going to take us to a definition that somehow saves you from us needing containment for gas pressure, and then tell us that we're playing word games? Are you going to now define gas pressure outside of natural law, but then claim we're playing word games?
Outside of natural law, you're just ignoring certain natural laws.
Okay, within the definition of atmospheric pressure, how does it define the containment of the gas within the definition of atmospheric pressure? Where's the containment described?
Weight. By weight.
Weight? What is weight? Define weight.
Weight is the container?
Yeah.
Yep. That's pathetic.
Weight is
very good, man.
Weight is a concept. You can't contain anything. Do you know the difference between real things and concepts?
No.
Yeah, like
You said it's weight. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. He said weight holds it in. So I want you to show us weight. I want you to put it in a jar and paint it red. Weight.
Sit your fat ass on a scale and see how it overloads. There you go. Weight.
Stop talking about
So is propane a gas, Ed?
Yes,
it can be in a gaseous state.
Yeah. So then how come when I go to refill a 5-gallon propane tank, I need to bring a container called a tank, and when I fill it, it actually weighs something because I'm compressing it in a container. So weight can't even happen without containment. No.
That's
The gas. Ed, do you interrupt as a normal habit in life or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are
Okay,
you,
so
are
if
you
I
asking
said-
me or the
Ed,
FE panel?
Ed, let me make it simpler for you. Option 1, I go to the propane refill station and I say, I want 5 gallons of propane. He says, where's your container? I said, don't worry. It has weight. I'll carry it. That happen?
Oh!
Yeah.
They'll call the cops for you.
And now what?
Now what? You're a numbskull.
Now your arguments just...
Yeah, sorry.
You've
So
said,
you're just saying
that
some
the
random
container can be
things
weight.
and now-
He's asked you if you can go and gather up some gas and just say to the shopkeeper, I want £5 of this gas. And the guy's going to say, well, in order for you to take it away, you need a container. It's a necessary antecedent. But if you just say to him, no, I'm going to play a little word game with you because atmosphere is contained by weight. So give it me by weight, not by container, because you don't need one.
Are you done?
I mean,
You
that
can
should
pour
work
gas
by
into
your
it.
logic. That should work out, right? By your logic, that should work out, right? You should just say, give me 5 pounds of gas, and that should just be all right because you think weight of the gas is the container, right? In your
You
world?
can pour
And-
gas into an open fish tank.
Oh, a tank. Now you use a container?
You can pour
Thought you didn't need one.
into an
I thought
open
all you needed was
tank.
weight.
Weigh the difference.
How do you weigh a gas?
In an open fish tank.
Oh, so a
The
container
closed
then.
off container isn't.
You're gonna weigh a gas
It's
in an
not a
open
closed
container.
container. You can still weigh it.
No, it's not. That's not how you buy gas. I buy helium because I've got a couple of kids and
No,
fill up
but
a lot of helium
you
balloons.
do an example of
They don't come in
weighing
fish
gas
tanks.
and
They
you're
don't come in-
ignoring it.
Why are you talking through me? I've ordered gas. It comes in tanks. So is 10th Man. They come in tanks. They come in containers to contain the gas, because without it, it would all escape.
Yeah, because of the volume.
I used to have to drive a forklift, and I used to change the container tanks.
Chocolate. Sorry, because of the volume of what?
Of the amount of gas you want.
No, the volume of the gas is contained somehow. We've just had 2 explanations with buying gas in containers, and you said it's because of the volume, and I've asked volume of what, and you said volume of gas. Well, no, as explained with the shopkeeper before you interrupt me, of course, you've obfuscated the point, so you're going to interrupt the repetition of it. Of course you are. No, as per the shopkeeper example, you can't just ask for a weight of gas. The container must be there, otherwise you can't have it.
You can still pour gas into a fish tank and weigh it. Your argument
so
is
you
invalid.
pain, you show up with a fish tank. Is he gonna tell security immediately? Is there going to wait for about a minute?
Sorry, okay, my helium example. So I asked Amazon to post me some helium. You think they're going to just pour it into an envelope?
You can use heavier gas.
Sorry, I can use heavier gas to fill my kids' balloons, can I? I'm talking about the examples that I've actually utilised personally while he talks through me. Of course. No, I've actually had personal experience buying helium, but you're saying I could buy heavier gas. No, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't do the job. So no, I can't.
You can pour the heavier gas in a.
Sorry, what?
Open.
Why?
God.
Who's ordering heavy gas in the post? And does it come in envelopes? If you do,
Jeez, man, are you? Wow,
I'm
Ed, bro.
That you
I think Ed is allowed to,
You're ignoring it.
to buy industrial
I'm
goods.
not ignoring it. Sorry, mate, I'm not ignoring it. I've seen an example of sulfur hexafluoride, and do you know how they wheeled it on set? In a container. Do you know why? Because it would all dissipate if they didn't. It was very heavy, a very heavy gas, and yet they still bought it in a container. That's a fact. I've got an example. Do you want me to show you them wheeling in a very inert heavy gas, man-made sulfur hexafluoride, and them having to have it in a gas container? Do you want me to prove that to you by showing you?
You can also have a small amount in an open fish tank and weigh it.
Yeah, that's true. The only problem with that is there's this little law of nature. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. And lo and behold, the gas will eventually, with time, fill the space. It's a law of nature. That's why when he wheeled it in to show that temporarily it could stay in an open fish tank, he needed a massive container to permanently hold it without it filling the available volume, which is precisely what it would do if he didn't have it contained. So a temporary example doesn't prove that you can post heavy gas. This is ludicrous.
If you do it in a vacuum chamber, the air will stay in the fish tank. So now you're.
Sorry, go ahead, show us. No, hold on. Go ahead, show us. And then you got a problem because you just contradicted yourself twice. Number one, you're using a man-made gas. Number two, you said in a vacuum. There are no vacuums in nature. Don't overtalk me. So you just contradicted yourself twice.
Come on, guys. He just said the vacuum chamber gas would stay in an open container. It's absolutely.
So let me get this. Hang on. So let me get this straight. This baller who wants to exhibit greater brain power than the whole panel here is saying that I could go to a refilling propane station. The guy's got a huge aquarium with an open top. I come in with a small aquarium with an open top. I ask him to fill it. And he says I could only do it in the vacuum.
Oh, you can do it.
This is like comedy, yo. Like, really?
Oh my gosh.
Well, if there's
Ed,
you're
you
gonna
come
have
here with like a script with some bullshit.
basic facts.
You need to go over to Jose JG Retard Show. You'll be a star.
Serious. Yeah, bro.
There's a simple
Go make
solution
it.
to this, right? We know beyond all certitude that we need containment to have gas pressure. That's a fact. So if you believe the sky is a vacuum, you need to demonstrate that you can violate these laws of nature. You need to show gas pressure without a container to prove that the sky could be a vacuum. It isn't. It violates natural law.
Simply yes.
No, it doesn't, because there's a gradient.
Now, oh, he's going back to gravity. Let me just say this about gravity. I can give you Newtonian gravity at 1,000 times its natural force. And then I can give you Einsteinian bendy spacetime, all that you want. And it won't affect entropy one iota. You get me, sunshine?
Yeah, regardless of...
Yeah, you're just claiming.
No,
There's no evidence.
No, we've shown it on the show. No, we've shown it.
Hold on,
show
you think gravity is
demonstrations
affecting entropy?
We can show demonstrations of entropy increase, and gravity didn't affect it in the slightest. Even if you assume this force that isn't a
Just
I got a hot cup of coffee.
You can.
It's getting pretty cool right now. Steam coming off it. I'm on ground level. Why is gravity not affecting the entropy of my coffee cup, guy?
You're just claiming things and not showing anything.
That's called projection. We're not claiming gravity. You've claimed gravity. We've taken it apart, right? We're not claiming anything. Natural law isn't a claim. It's a fact. It's just part of life. You don't have to like it, but it's not something I'm claiming. When I say, no, that's natural law. The entropy increase, that's always going to occur. Yeah, that's natural law. Not a claim.
Nathan, it's timestamp. And Master B.
What is it? What is it exactly?
It's timestamp. It's our favorite professor.
Oh, perfect.
Very simply expressed. Now let us look at some examples of spontaneous changes and see how they are accounted for in terms of the second law of thermodynamics. We'll take the simplest first and look at changes where only the entropy changes. Now, one, perhaps the simplest of all of these, is the expansion of a gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these valves some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we can have, perhaps, because all that happens is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no energy change, there's no temperature change, there's no change except entropy.
Oops.
Oopsie.
So, back to Ed.
He
Did you get all that, Ed?
What does that mean?
Did you understand all that?
Just entropy, Ed. The expansion of gas into a vacuum, like the one you believe the sky is, that would definitely happen.
Free expansion.
Your name is not Ed, Chikey. Shut up.
Stampy, you idiot.
I don't.
And I'm waiting. That's Vito, it's GG.
Yeah, I can link
Chocolate, do that again.
it to video so I can actually keep going on.
And then we got Ed. Shut up, Beavis.
Who needs TV comedy
that's
hours?
just-
Join in the Nathan Oakley show.
It's just dumb laugh and claiming victory. But can you show the link so I can see what's going on?
He's
So if you're
demonstrated gas, atmo, expanding into a vacuum. And what he described specifically was there's no other change other than a change in entropy. This is the natural law we're describing. So he's not saying, oh, but you've also got to count for bending of conceptual pseudo-Ramonian force space. He didn't say any of that. But he definitely showed that gas expands into a vacuum, like the gas we're breathing would expand into outer space if it was a vacuum. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. It doesn't, because the sky isn't a vacuum. We must have containment to be breathing.
Beautiful how he uses the expansion of gas into a vacuum as the simplest example of entropy change. Isn't it so simple, Ed?
Ed, that means he's asking you indirectly, how are you still breathing? Essentially.
I'm actually watching the video, so I'm not going to care right now.
Oh, yeah, because I gave it to you. You're not going to care right now. Okay.
He'll care
Don't
after
care.
the video.
No, it's prolonged silence time, and then he will come back to red herring.
Quiet, Arwin. No, Arwin. Shut up.
No, you're not going to red herring it?
I thought we were going to get into
No,
gravity.
Arwin, you're wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do that. He don't want to do that.
We could go into scientific evidence for gravity if you'd like. That's a lot of fun.
Oh God, no.
Vertical. It's 50-foot vertical.
Oh God, no.
No, it's
Our
bromine, steel gas, in a glass container, not isolated. So you're really getting
Oh,
in
Jesus
the
Christ.
bucket here.
King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Hey,
Yeah,
If it's vertical, and it has weight, it wouldn't be.
hey, Zanuck, Mr. Natural Law Denier.
Not a natural
Say
law.
on
First of all,
Monday.
go find me where it says the natural law is entropy.
Oh, here we go again.
It's
I
not.
could have sworn that professor.
You can't read what
Sworn
you're
that
finding a
professor was
citation.
just calling it thermodynamics.
Oh,
Not a
you
law.
calm down a second. Hello.
They're not even
Hold
science
on.
deniers.
Hello. Can I just answer, Zanuck? You can find that at the entropy site. So it's entropy.edu.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't say that entropy is a law.
Entropylaw.com.
Read what it
That's
says.
the one. It's called entropylaw.com. Or is it .edu?
.com. It's a website. Websites do not
on a second.
determine a law. A name of
think
that's your argument.
hang on,
Name of a
hang on.
website.
Oh, do they not? What about NASA?
NASA doesn't call it a law either.
Oh, do they not?
No, they don't. Come on. It's not a law. It's a property.
If I were to
Thermodynamic
Google
differential property.
if I were to Google the entropy law, the second law of thermodynamics pops up. Zanuck, what's up with that?
You do a search on law, entropy law, and suddenly it comes up. That's your
Just
evidence.
put in entropy law.
Exactly.
Bunch
What
of
he's
links
saying-
come up, and it says
no,
the second law of thermodynamics.
What he's saying
Zanuck, your
is,
own words on last week's show, you said, give me university citations and I'll believe it. So QE gave you 3 on that day, and that's not enough. So you're pathetic.
this is applying the principle of, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, it's not a duck, according to Zanuck.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're ducking the
I
question.
told you many weeks ago that entropy was affectionately called by students as the entropy law, but it's not.
Oh, it's affectionately called by students the entropy law, and yet they're not corrected by their teachers. They're just allowed incorrectly to fondly call the second law of thermodynamics the entropy law, with fondness, because of how wrong it is. Is that what you're saying, Zanuck? They fondly call it the entropy law because they fondly embrace how much they understand it's wrong.
I know it's wrong.
No, it's not. That's why they fondly call it the entropy law when referring to the second law of thermodynamics, because it's one and the same thing, despite your complete nonsense misapprehension about the entropy law. That would be the second law of thermodynamics. They're one and the same thing.
It's not the entropy law.
Yeah, it is.
I
That's
just
why they
came up with the first search result, and I'm presenting it right now as proof.
Feel free to read that out.
Zanuck, it is. First search result.
Read it out.
Well, according to Zanuck,
Hold on.
it's going to come under affection law.
Arwin, please, can you read it out?
Oh, well, this is just the Google search result.
It's fine.
All right. First result is second law of thermodynamics from Wikipedia. Jump to entropy is the first thing that it says. The second search result, is entropy at Wikipedia. And it says jump to second law of thermodynamics. So, yeah, it seems like they're intricately linked.
Just because you search it comes up doesn't mean it's the definition.
You used to call it the entropy
I didn't
law, just
call
like
that. I agree with
No, Zanuck, try. Hold on, I'm going to agree with him. Hello?
Nathan,
I'm going to agree with him.
that's
Hold on,
effectively called that.
Zanik, I'm agreeing with you. Just because you search something doesn't make it right. That's true. Obviously, we spend all day debunking other people's definitions by way of the Socratic method. So, by this method, you agree on a definition with your opponent, or they don't. I mean, obviously, there's a dead end to the Socratic method if your opponent just goes nuh-uh when you show them citations and definitions that all match up. But have you got anything to contrast what's been presented over and over and over again, which is to say that the second law of thermodynamics and the entropy law are one and the same thing? Have you got anything maybe to cite that we can have to contrast that, please?
Yes. Every one of the citations that you brought forth last couple of days.
I don't need to hear about the citations that have been presented that back that the entropy law is the second law of thermodynamics. That's our argument. I'm asking you to contrast it with something else, not pull apart what's already been presented. Present something that contrasts it. We're going through something called the Socratic method, Zanik, where we establish terms together. Can we establish terms with you that defy what's already been presented? Not pull apart what's already been presented. That's a different thing.
Nothing presented said that.
So you're going to criticize what's been presented despite me going to lengths to detail that we want you to contrast it as per the Socratic method. So we can come to terms. Do you have something that contradicts it? Can you cite something else, Sunshine? Third time, going up in tone and pitch to disseminate the stress on the words. Different citation. These words being repeated by me. Can you focus on it?
Every citation was missed.
So you're going to focus on what's already presented and how it's wrong rather than contrast it as per the Socratic method. Third time in a row.
Not true. That was read incorrectly.
Not read incorrectly. We just read it. You can't read things incorrectly. You just read what it says. That's what we've done. And we're asking if you've got anything else to contrast it so we can come to terms that you think are wrong by seeing other terms that you define. Have you got that?
One of the somebody
you got
that's
some audacity.
here, please look at those citations.
So all we're going to do is focus on what's presented, which is affirmed our position, and nitpick over it. You're not going to contrast it in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to come to terms with us as per the Socratic method. We've only had our side, which affirms our position, and your criticism of every citation presented so far.
Yes, every citation.
Oh, right. Well, that's useless as shit, you dumb bonehead.
Oh, one.
You're useless. You're a useless twat. I'm going to kick you out if you just keep ignoring every definition that's ever presented to you, because that just makes you an intolerable prick. You're totally unreasonable. You haven't got anything to contrast any of this. Every citation saying the same thing, but you're just saying no. Well, I can do without naysayers. Just no. You're as good as Brenda to me.
Zanik.
You're as good. Chocolate. Hold on. I'm in the middle. Chocolate.
Fair enough. Let me put something
Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
No problem. We've spent 3 months on this. They're the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Is this going to be another one of those citations where, as we read,
You weren't saying this 2 months ago, though.
It's an
Zanik.
idealization.
He wasn't saying this 2 months ago, though. He wasn't arguing that
Chocolate.
the entropy law is not the second law of thermodynamics. So where is this
Really
a
not
new talking point? Is this a new talking point, Zanik? Because we've been arguing this for months. It's only very recently, all of a sudden, now entropy is not the second law of thermodynamics. Where'd you get that from, huh, Zanik? Just curious.
Well, they only have so much maneuvering room.
Or this is just the next definition that you have to redefine because your position is so untenable. Is that what it is?
Right. They need to move somewhere, you know. They need to find new ground. They just lost the geometric.
Give you the actual definition. I've said since the beginning, always.
Okay.
I've always there's a definition in the chat. They always have said that entropy is a measurement, a value, a state function. It is not a law.
Of what?
There's a difference.
Of what?
What?
Wait, what do you mean?
What does it pertain to?
Pertains to the energy unavailable to do work in a system. That's what it pertains to.
It's just a demonstration. No, that's wrong.
You don't even know what it is.
No, the demonstration that we just had that only showed entropy increase didn't show any energy change at all. So that's wrong.
It did you about a month ago with that same exact thing, you numpty dipshit.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about your demonstration you've ignored.
When I asked you, hold on, I asked you point blank, and where's my 2 G's, by the way? I asked you point blank, can you have entropy change without a change in energy or temperature? And you said no. Then we busted George Porter on your dumbass.
Because I was being very technical.
Yeah,
Is that container, hold on. Is that container that is glass?
From Georgia
Is it
State
isolated?
University.
Is that
Second
an
law,
ideal gas?
entropy.
No,
Right
no,
here.
and no.
Right here,
You're wrong.
University of Georgia.
You
You're
don't know.
finished.
Just because he's
You're a liar. You're
Stop
Millie Vanilli.
promising.
You're a fucking dumb shit.
How do you know?
You're a dumb shit. You're a liar. You're a double-speaking liar.
Understand a reversible process.
Reversible process. There are no
gas
reversible
expands, no
processes in
change in
nature.
entropy.
Nature moves only one way, son.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There could be no. There
You want to
no
hang
change
your hat on that?
Reversible process.
Entropy is always one direction,
In a
Yannick.
reversible expansion. So
No,
gas
it's
can't
not.
expand and no change in entropy. You not agree?
There are no reversible processes in nature.
No, that's not true. But in entropy,
the
entropy is
president was-
always irreversible. It's always one
So
direction.
talk
That's what
about
defines it.
gas. Talk about gas expanding in that controlled situation. It was a glass container and it was with bromine, non-ideal gas. That doesn't follow.
Check this out,
rules.
Nathan. You got me presented?
Not an ideal gas? Do ideal gases exist?
There you go.
Nathan,
No,
I-
chocolate picked up on it. Good. So chocolate understands.
sir.
Good. That particular
But the gas that he had in that container, did that exist?
needs to be an isolated system with a
Nathan,
an
sir,
ideal gas.
isolated systems don't exist in
Neither
nature. You're a friggin' moron.
It was
Nathan,
a
sir.
example.
Yes, I'm trying to get
It
through
was
to you.
example only.
Hold up, Zanuck. So you think the example that professor used was an ideal gas in an isolated system? Is that what you're saying?
It needs to be for him to make the claims he
It
did.
needs to be.
It needs
He
to be
used
for him to
a
make the
closed
claim.
system with a real gas.
It can't be closed because how do you know that if you
It wasn't a closed system, Zanuck?
that would not be clean? Oh God,
That was not the
Speak for a
closed
second.
system that he was using,
That needs
Zanuck.
to
Are
be
you serious?
isolated, and it needs to be an ideal gas. Otherwise, that example is not entirely.
Yeah, he says what you just said. What you just said was it needs to be an ideal gas, or that example can't happen. But it did happen. We showed him.
It's not ideal gas.
Yeah,
What's
that
a
means
real
that-
gas?
Sorry. So his argument is that if it's not an ideal gas, then it's not a demonstration of the entropy law, otherwise known as the second law of thermodynamics. It's not showing entropy increase because that only occurs in an ideal gas. Well, no, it's been demonstrated with bromine. It's the exact same argument we had with you last time.
Well, you didn't pick up on some of the nuances.
Entropy is not a concept.
Number one.
It works.
No, Arwin.
Number one.
No, you're wrong, Arwin.
No. Oh, really?
Gas can expand.
Okay,
Arwin,
let's get back on this. Listen.
In fact, gas can exchange.
There are
gas
no,
can expand and it's down.
Darwin,
wasn't me.
There are no ideal gases. So your whole point
Correct.
is
theoretical.
pneumonia.
It's theoretical, correct. But that's what that example shows.
No, it didn't. His example was done with bromine, so it wasn't done with an ideal gas. That's not what it showed. Your argument is to say that the second law doesn't apply because it only applies to ideal gases, and therefore, because his example wasn't with an ideal gas, it doesn't apply. That's absolute nonsense. It was done with bromine because there are no ideal gases. He demonstrated the second law of thermodynamics, an entropy increase. He wasn't not showing it because it wasn't an ideal gas, which is your argument here. Totally preposterous.
Are you saying that gas, when it expands, that entropy always increases?
Entropy's a law of nature.
It's not a law of nature.
Yeah, it is.
Breaking natural laws.
Zanuck, when he opened that valve, did the gas expand into the vacuum?
Please. Hello? If gas expands, so according to you, does gas expand?
What you mean if?
Entropy's gone up.
Yeah, that's what happens. He's showing entropy increase. That's what he demonstrated. Your argument is this doesn't apply to Earth because it only applies to ideal gases. But it was demonstrated with real gas.
If you have work being done.
Sorry, he just showed an entropy increase. No exchange of energy. We've already gone through this as well.
Hello? I can show you gas expanding.
Zanik, you're literally trying to do a Jedi mind trick, bro. It's
No, I'm
not.
not.
working.
I'm trying to give you the education.
Yes, you are. You're trying to redefine the words the man just used with the definition. With the
property.
Zanik, he just demonstrated something, and you're completely going against it. You're ridiculous.
Entropy.
I read, hang on, Sanic, stop all the obfuscation. I read to you on Friday from cam.libertex. It should go without saying, of course, that any process that proceeds in infinitesimal steps would take infinitely long to occur. So thermodynamic reversibility is an idealization that is never achieved in real processes. Shut up, you liar.
You got me on screen, Nathan?
Yes, I have.
Let's finish this. His reversible processes, Zanuck, the numpty dipshit from the universe and Dr. Einstein. Listen closely. The universe is thus progressing towards an ultimate heat death, or as it is technically defined, a condition of maximum entropy. And there is no way of avoiding this destiny. For the faithful principle known as the second law of thermodynamics, which stands today as virtually the only pillar of classical physics left intact by the march of science, proclaims that the fundamental processes of nature are irreversible. Nature moves only one way. Turn out the lights. Party's over.
And with that, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Another massive thank you to today's Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. And I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!